Hi everyone! I decided to make a video rather than going live because I realize I have tons of things to do and not many people really turn up at the actual live time yet. So I had to think about it and I thought, well, why don't I just do a batch of videos when I'm feeling well, because I'm going through all this Cushing stuff and lots of other things health wise, and I don't always feel ready or well enough to do videos and even get dressed to do them. So why don't I do a batch of things, and then I could just release one once a week, like maybe one on a craft topic and maybe one like little pep talk. So that's what I'm doing today. So I'm sorry if you're going to come on live, but you can still pop your questions below this video and I promise you I'll answer them. And of course, if you want me to make a video on any topic, please, you can write to me on any of the pages of the site, or if you're shy, just please message me, personal message me. You're always welcome to give me topics. But I'm just going to go through some basics. But somebody asked me privately about doing a show not tell thing. Now, I think a lot of people think, oh, it's really basic. It is basic, but I think it's a skill that can absolutely transform your writing, and it's one that I think, from my own experience and from working with about 1,000 writers now, that you need to work on for the whole of your life, because it's very easy to slip back on. Now, I guess I better start by explaining, if some people are beginners, what show not tell means. Right. Well, I think a lot of writing teachers have probably said this to you, and this actually, before I start, you might be thinking, I'm a poet, this doesn't apply to me. I'm a memoir writer, this doesn't apply to me. Yes, it does, because this is a skill about making your work, your action, your emotion of your work vivid to the reader. So absolutely listen up. Okay, not just for fiction writers. So when we say show not tell, it's about basically showing the reader the action rather than just telling them. And I'll give you an example of this. So you could say, she was sad. She ran down the road. Right? Now, that's very basic. Okay? But it doesn't give you much, does it? It's like children's book stuff. It's not going to give you much. It's just fundamentals. It might be what you write down when you're getting notes down or in a rush to get the narrative down, but it's the bare bones. That's telling. I once wrote an article, I think it's probably some of the back end of my blog, on how to write emotion. And it has this example, probably about my bereavement from my dear grandmother. And it had a thing like the example of she was grieving from her grandmother, something like that. And then it had she wept, curled around the toilet in her bathroom. Which one of those conveys loss better? Okay, you can see that detail, live action, really shows things much more vividly and sucks you, and you get it. Yeah? And one thing I always use with my students when we're in writing classes is I say use the senses. So what did they see? What do they see around them, the character? Yeah? It doesn't have to be first person, by the way. Third person, you can capture that as well. The sensory stuff. What do they hear? What do they touch? What do they feel? What's the air feel like? What's the temperatures like? What do they taste? Is there a metallic taste in their mouth? What does a sour taste in their mouth? Is there sweetness? Really get into their body, because our emotions are often felt in the body. That's what it comes up in my coaching. Tightness often and heaviness often represents a lot of stress, whereas lightness and energy represents things that are positive. Not always, because this is another thing as well. Everybody does emotions differently. Somebody who's angry will shout, but not necessarily. Somebody who's angry, my soul can be silent or eat, 2 tubs of Haagen-Dazs. But you have to know how they do the emotion and show it happening. Not just tell us he was angry. Play it out. Now, the other day I watched a program. It wasn't great. I'm a documentary mad person, crazy about them. But I watched this one on Netflix called The Creative Brain, and it wasn't fabulous, but it had some really good insights. And one of them was that the brain will always take the most efficient and easy cut through, because that's what evolution has taught us how to survive, right? That's the quickest way across the river. Let's do that. So that's why we say she was sad, she ran up the road, rather than getting into the more deep emotional stuff that works on the page. So that's why we have to always keep getting past this, even if we've been writing for years. So we have to get it to do something else. We have to get the brain to do something more creative. So that's why I'm telling you to keep going back to the show, not tell stuff. And it's really important. I mean, maybe in the first draft you bang it out and then you fill it out. But if you can get it down there the first time, it's even better. Because obviously, less time you do editing, the less agony you have. And the less time perhaps before you get it before an agent. Okay? But I think this is a really important skill to take seriously, no matter what creative genre you're working in. And, you know, I think we can also summarize action, which really is upsetting for me, when there's a really juicy, dramatic scene, which could be huge conflict. Like someone's broken up, a wedding's gone off. It could be huge, juicy conflict. And conflict is the lifeblood of fiction. And someone just goes, oh, they broke up. You're like, oh. I sit there and I'm like, my editor hat and going, no, or, you know, no, put that in dialogue, give them a row. I mean, there is a reason why people read tabloids and watch EastEnders. They love bad news. They love drama. We love gossip. Yeah? There's this sort of dark side to humanity. You know, and I think this isn't just about trashy fiction either. All fiction needs conflict. Even if, you know, I really love literary fiction when they're having a dinner party and there's a subtext where people are digging at each other and the conversation is really about something that they're not saying, and there's still conflict going on, but it's below the surface. And that's showing, not telling. That's showing people hate each other. It's not saying, I hate you, Alexis. It's that's telling. Like, you know, that's the kind of melodrama stuff. This is showing it sneakily. And that's beautiful. That's amazing. And I've seen that done really well in some books. So think about that as well. You know, don't just tell someone that they had a fight. Tell someone they broke up. Tell someone that you know, use that juicer, amp it up. Use the drama you have. And that's by showing, not telling. Yeah? Live action. Yeah, you don't have to show every bus journey or trip on a plane to Lima. You can summarize the stuff that isn't important. You can tell that. Yeah. But do not tell the stuff that is important. I often say if it's important enough to be a scene in your book, you should be showing it. Okay? So that's my little top tip for this week on how showing, not telling. If you've got any questions about showing, not telling, or observations about how it's been an issue for you, or how you love doing it, or how you could offer tips on how to do it best, then please drop them below. Or please offer a question on a craft topic you'd like me to do next, and I'll pop that in for next week. Until then, have a lovely week, and I'll keep it on the group and I'll respond to your questions and stuff. And I'll start doing lots of once a week videos, and I'll probably start doing some pep talks like this as well on kind of coaching style confidence things. I'm going to be actually doing a free 5-day writing challenge in May, which I'm going to launch properly next week, called Write Not Fright, which some people have already joined. You could just you could join it by just hitting the block at the top of my website, SharonZink.com, and that's going to be 5 emails sent to your inbox all about getting past fear in your writing life. And and after that, I'm thinking about doing a weekly or fortnightly feminist writing group online, so everyone could join. But I'm thinking about that, and I'll get back to you soon, and maybe I will feed in together about how that might work. A couple of people already said they want to join, so it looks like it might happen. I just can't make case of whether it starts in summer or in September, really. Anyway, it's been nice talking to you today. Please pop your questions below, and I'll see you in the group soon.